Hi everyone in English 2323, it's Dr. E. Welcome to the course. This video is meant to kind of highlight a few areas of our course syllabus. Just in general, the syllabi for your courses are really important. They're meant to be the kind of resources or tools that you refer to throughout the semester. So it's kind of your course at a glance, but it also is a space for a lot of different resources and details that are just in the moment probably pretty useful. So what I want to go through are, again, some of those specific areas, but also note the difference between the simple syllabus version of this information and the kind of more printable or more kind of functional version that I have loaded as well. So I'm going to move my face. All right, so this is what our course syllabus looks like. And as you see, there's a table of contents. It's supposed to be, it is intended to be a very kind of easy to navigate document. So you can click on the different areas, you can scroll through to find information, right? And it is printable, right? So this is available in D2L, but I also want to go to the simple syllabus area. So if you're not familiar, simple syllabus is just a way to access your course information online for any class that you have, right? And it's meant to be the information is meant to be presented in a way that is really uniform, right? So my style of syllabus that you see on that printable version is very different from another course you might be taking, another professor. So simple syllabus is, I would say, for those of you who just kind of are more linear thinkers, who want the information in just kind of a format that is broken down in a very specific way, the simple syllabus route might be the easiest for you versus the printable version that I showed you previously. So this is our course in D2L. Up at the top is that syllabus link, right? This is it. But as you can see on the left-hand side, there are just those, it's similar to the other document, right? There's a table of contents. You can click through and find that information. It's just presented in a much more kind of linear fashion, in a way that is, it's not perhaps as dynamic as the document that I was showing you previously, but it is essentially the same information, right? Okay, so I'm going to quickly shift back to this document. Because again, this is the way I think, right? And I'm not going to sit and just read you everything from the syllabus, because it's not to say it's not important, right? So when you have the time, when you have the energy, when you have the focus, make sure that you're going through all of this, because the details included in every course syllabus are just there to support you as a student and to really support your learning throughout the process and to give you the details that are important to be successful in the course, right? Okay, so here you have all my contact information, right? So my name, my preference is Dr. E. My last name is pronounced differently than it's Dr. Raft. So Dr. E just always felt easier. So that's my preference. Email. We're online, so we don't have an office location, but if you are physically located near the University Park campus, if you ever need to meet, just reach out and let me know. We have to include this general phone number that is kind of our LSE main number, but I'm going to be one. I don't really know. I know how to check my voicemail, but that call does not come directly to me. It has to be routed through a system, whereas that's why I've also included the Google Voice message or voice number, so that during office hours you can call me, you can text me. You can text me during, regular business hours, preferably. If you have quick questions and things like that. But then there are also these student success hours. So these are individual private, WebEx appointments, and you can click on this for more information about how to set those up. But if those hours and times don't work for you, then just reach out to me. I'm happy to, we can set up a Zoom meeting if Zoom is easier for you. We can meet in whatever way works for you at a time that works for you as well, because I know that so many of you have various responsibilities outside of school, whether it is extracurriculars if you're dual credit students, or whether you are a parent, or you're working full-time or part-time, or you're volunteering at various places. We have a lot going on, right? So I know that the times that I have tried to set up as being accessible just may not work for you. Okay. There's information about my boss, should you ever need to contact him, Dr. Jess Kelly, he's wonderful. And then some of this, again, is required information. Hopefully you know the course that you signed up for, all of that good stuff, any important dates that occur during the semester. So these are details that should be on every syllabus that you have for every class, right? We have our course overview, all of this, have the energy. The technology requirements, these are just take a look, just kind of confirm that this is going to be a course that does not overwhelm you due to technology, right? Because online courses can sometimes be that way. Just double check. This is also a place where we have links that may be helpful. So if there's ever any issue with technology or they're doing D2L updates, maybe you need the different website to access D2L or My Lone Star, that kind of thing, okay? So the course materials are included in the STAR bundle, but if you did opt out of the STAR bundle, this is information about how to access our course text. But again, if you have the STAR bundle, then everything is included within our course. You'll access our book. And here's how grades are broken down for the semester. So we are on a points system, which of course relate to the percentage, but you'll see a majority of the class is based on that kind of weekly work. So that comes in the form of mind maps. We have weekly quizzes, and those quizzes are just based on anything that comes up during the week. So it could be instructional videos, it could be videos I ask you to watch, it could be, you know, of course, the readings and everything from our class. So those weekly quizzes definitely add up, as well as discussion posts. And then we have kind of the more major assignments, which are broken down. So we have a literary journal collection and a multimedia project, and you can see the visual of the percentages here. But please note that everything with an asterisk there will come with its own instructional video. But even if there's not a video to explain, you know, one of these assignments, there will be more details within the week that those are due. So every week we'll have a weekly module set up with all the assignments. You'll have an instructional video that walks you through the information. So I'll walk you through the information, as well as you'll have written instructions, right? So don't get too stressed out about this. This again is just the class at a glance. More detail will follow. Okay, so there's a little kind of blurb about each assignment section here. Again, not extremely detailed, but enough, you know, to give you a sense of what we're doing in the class. And then there's a note about grading expectations, especially because we're an online English class, right? So we do a lot of writing. That's how we're communicating our ideas. That's how we're sharing our ideas, whether those are in discussion posts or our journals or any of those kinds of assignments. So that means that was one dog you'll hear my animals throughout the semester. So that means that sometimes grading can take a while, right? So I wanted to set some expectations for the timeline of the grading, but I also wanted to set some expectations about the fact that, yes, we are kind of a writing-based class, but that does not necessarily mean that I expect everybody to be I don't expect perfection, right? I don't believe in perfect writing. I do believe in revised and edited writing, but I don't believe that we have to strive for, you know, this notion of perfect grammar and perfect writing. I really want us to focus our attention on your ideas and how you're developing as a reader and how you're developing as a writer, how you're utilizing your critical thinking skills. I am less invested in nitpicking your writing. I am most invested in seeing your ideas develop and seeing how you're thinking about some of the things we're learning in the course. So read that section when you have some time. And then we get down into some of our specific policies, right? So I don't take attendance in the class, but if you say, you know, we have a lot of weekly work. We have a lot of work going on in the class. That's just the nature of an English course. If you disappear from the class for about 2 consecutive weeks and you don't submit anything, my mind is going to go to a place where you're dealing with something outside of the class and, you know, other things are a priority right now. And that may happen, right? That's the reality of our lived experience, is that there's going to be a time when school has to take a back seat. And that may mean the best thing for you is to be dropped from the course so that you don't end up with a failing grade or something that will negatively impact your GPA or anything that's going on in your future. I say all of this to emphasize, be present, log in, even if you're not doing your best work, submit something. It's better than nothing, right? And if you're going through something outside of class that is impacting your ability to regularly submit your work or be involved in the course, then please reach out to me. I know sometimes it can be difficult to approach professors. Some professors are pretty standoffish. I hope you don't see me as one of them. Right? So make sure that you're reaching out, and you don't have to share personal details or information, but do let me know that you're dealing with something, especially because we may have resources that can help you at Lone Star. But we need to develop a plan for you to be successful. I can't do any of that if you don't reach out. And weeks down the line, when things have just gotten worse and worse and harder, is not the time to do it. The time to do it is as soon as you're able. Okay, don't be afraid to reach out to us. Okay, so dropping down, we do have, communication is really important in an online class, right? Because we just aren't seeing each other face to face all the time and having these conversations. So how do we communicate otherwise? We have a Q&A discussion board where you can ask any questions. You can also answer other people's questions if you feel comfortable doing that. And then if you have something a bit more, personal, or you want to reach out to me directly, of course, reach out to me via email. We can set up a time to meet for, a chat if you want to. And communicate with each other. There's a student-only chat area in the discussion boards. I really want you to develop a sense of community with one another. And that student chat, I do not go in that. It's a student lounge. It's meant for you to exchange contact information, form group chats, ask questions of one another that you may be a little nervous about asking me, which don't ever be nervous about that, right? There's no judgment. But I want there to be a sense of community, right? And that's one way to do that is in the student-only lounge. Late work is always something that people have questions about. And so for most uploaded work, there is a 48-hour grace period. So when I would say uploaded work, I mean essentially those things that are not discussion posts. Discussion posts, because we need to engage with one another, and we can only do that if everybody's posting in a timely manner, there's not necessarily the same grace period for those assignments, but for things like weekly quizzes, for journal assignments, those things that you actually are uploading a document or submitting something, dogs. Submitting something like a quiz, you do have a 48-hour grace period. You don't have to reach out to me about it. It's your business. You can let me know if things are going on, sure, but you don't have to apologize. It is there for you. It is there for you to use when you need it. I don't suggest you use that grace period all the time, because then what happens if in that grace period something happens? You don't have time after that, right? So again, use wisely, but also know that there's no judgment. It's there for you. Okay. Because we are an online course, respect is just so important, as well as understanding that we're definitely a diverse community and so many identities amongst us, right? So we are not seeing one another face to face. We're not having eye contact. I can't hear your tone when you're typing, right? And the same is true for your colleagues. So when you're communicating with one another digitally, or communicating with me digitally, please be careful. Really attend to the kind of tone you're putting into your writing, and think about how somebody may be reading your ideas. We're not here to judge one another. We're not here to judge one another's writing or ideas or anything like that. That said, if there are things that are being said in communications about the course, in discussion posts, if I haven't caught it, please let me know. I don't want anybody to feel as though they've been disrespected, if they've been judged. Let me handle that, right? So help me figure out if that's something that I need to address. All right, there is a section on plagiarism, as well as some different details about AI. In this day and age, we have to have those conversations. Please take the time to read those sections, because they are very important, especially in an online course. And every course you take will have a different policy related to these things. So it's not okay to move forward without knowing these things. All right. And then moving more towards the end of the document, we have, all the different support services and everything that's available to you as a student at Lone Star College. So reach out to me, let me know if you have any questions, but good luck this week.